My top 3 20 minutes or less midweek dinners, noodles, spicy Thai stir fry. We've got it all in this video. Stay watching. So let's talk about noodles first. And I've got these packet udon noodles. They're vacuum sealed. They can be in the fridge section of the supermarket or in the Asian section. And what you need to do is treat them very gently, because if you start to kind of break them up as they are, they'll just break apart. So take them out of the packet and then straight into some boiling water. And then just leave them to have a little soak for a few seconds just to get acquainted with that hot water. And now take your tongs and very gently just kind of shake them a little. Don't start breaking anything up, just sort of grab a hold of the stack of noodles, just give it a little shake. And because we're stir frying these noodles, our absolute mortal enemy is going to be overcooked noodles. So we really want to make this happen fast. So now that I can see the noodles loosening up themselves, I'm just going to give them a little bit of a help. Now, just as soon as they have all come apart, I'm going to pull them straight out and into a bowl. Now, if I was going to be leaving these for quite some time before I cook them, I'd run them under some cold water, stop them cooking, but I'm going to cook these almost straight away. So I'm going to just add a little bit of sesame oil, give them a toss. And this is just so they don't stick together. And plus, sesame oil has such a lovely flavor. Okay, noodles done. Next step is to get our aromatics done. So I've got some ginger here and I'm just going to quickly peel the skin off. Just use a teaspoon. That's the easiest way to just scrape off the skin. Okay, just trim off any stubborn bits and pieces. And I just want a thin slice first of all, and then we're going to slice lengthways to give us nice fine little strips. And now for the spring onion. So I'm going to use the white part as almost like my onion flavor for the beginning of the stir fry. So I'm going to keep the white part and the green part separate. Okay, move that white part of the spring onion over with my ginger. They can go in together. And this green part, I'm going to use that for a bit of freshness and some greenery at the end. And now I'm going to add some green vegetable. I just like to add a little bit of greenery to whatever I'm cooking during the week, just to get my vegetable intake in. And this is a local green vegetable here in Thailand that I love to use, but you can use any type of green vegetable you like bok choy, pak choy, broccoli, whatever's in your crisper. Go ahead and use that. One more thing to chat about before we start the stir frying. And I've kept my garlic really nice and chunky for this one. I don't want it to burn. I'm going to be putting it in at the beginning to kind of really flavor the oil, but I need the pieces quite big so they don't burn. Okay, so as with any stir fry, get everything done and prepped before you start cooking, because everything in the wok should happen really quickly. Okay, once my wok is really nice and hot, I'm going to add in some oil, and in goes that chunky garlic. And straight away, I want to get that ginger and the spring onion into there. That smells so good already. And now, if I was going to be doing this on the weekend, had more time, I would toast my sesame seeds separately. But we're doing this quick style today, so I'm just going to throw these sesame seeds straight in here and just give them a quick toast along with the garlic, the ginger, and the spring onion. Okay, so I'm going to add in my pork, but one really great tip for whenever you're wok cooking, and even if you're doing this in a large frying pan as well, move everything to the side, give yourself a lot of space in the middle for the pork, and then put your protein into the center and now spread it out. The aim is to get as much of that protein in contact with the heat as quickly as possible. That way we're going to be stir frying and not stewing. My other tip here, leave the pork alone. Let it do its thing with the hot wok just for almost a minute before you start to break it up. Okay, so I can see that the pork is starting to color down the bottom there. So I'm going to get in there and give everything a good toss. Now again, spread everything out. Try to get that pork cooking so it's nice and dry. The enemy of a good stir fry is when you get too much of that juice collecting in the bottom and everything becomes kind of all watery and soggy. Okay, so this is looking really good. Time for the vegetables. Now just toss that through. And now our noodles. Some soy sauce. And because I know you guys know me by now, I'm going to add some chili powder because I like things spicy. but totally up to you. You can add more or just leave it out altogether. Okay, now toss everything around in here, and what I'm waiting for is just for those juices and the soy sauce to thicken up a little bit and coat those noodles. This is smelling so good. And that's it, done. The only thing left to do is to pull these guys out, get them onto a plate. And now just the final bits and pieces. I've got the greens from the spring onion we sliced earlier, and a few more little sesame seeds. And there you go, way quicker than calling for takeout, and so comforting, so good. Noodles. Just try and make sure. I love how chewy and like so satisfying udon noodles are. First up, let's talk about basil. Now, bai krapao in Thailand means holy basil, and that's this basil that has this really spicy, peppery flavor, which is a little different to your regular Italian basil. If you can't find holy basil, try for Thai basil. It has purple stems and a sweet aniseed flavor. Otherwise, just use regular Italian basil. Traditionally, this dish is all about the chili spice, but if chili's not your thing, I'm going to show you a way to kind of pull back on that heat. So you're going to start off with some of these little scud chilies. So these are super spicy chilies. In Thai they're called prikinu. So these are the chilies that are going to make your dish really spicy. So you can just add a few, add a lot, or leave them out altogether. For some color, you can use these long red chilies, and these ones are really mild, so you can add these in. They just have like a capsicum flavor. Now for the sauce. It's just oyster sauce, soy sauce, fish sauce, and some sugar. Okay, to cook, we just start with a little bit of oil, and you want to add some garlic. Okay, and then our chilies. This is the moment when your eyes start to water a little bit. Now add your pork mince. Now you could use any kind of mince that you like. Chicken mince, turkey, beef also works well. You can also use sliced meat, so thinly sliced pork, chicken, or even seafood as well. When your pork's cooked, add in the sauce. And finally add a heaping handful of basil. This dish is all about the basil, so be generous. Okay, so there's nowhere to hide with this dish. It's a very simple noodle dish, which means everything has to be perfect, including our noodle sauce. And we're gonna start off with some sesame seeds. Now, we're gonna toast these guys because that's gonna release more of their flavor and aroma. Okay, now keep these guys moving around. Don't go and start checking your Instagram feed or anything, because it's very easy to burn sesame seeds. I would know because I do it all the time. So keep them moving around until they're a beautiful golden brown color. That's looking good. I can smell how toasty and roasty those sesame seeds are, as well as that gorgeous color. So let me just get that into my mortar. And now this is the part that makes it all worthwhile. So we're gonna just grind these a little bit. It doesn't have to be a fine powder. I just wanna grind them so we're releasing some of the roasted sesame flavor, and you'll get that as soon as you start to do this. I wish you guys could smell this right now. It's just these little details that make all the difference. Okay, so that's the kind of situation you're looking for with the sesame seeds. Pop that into a bowl. The next thing we want is some spring onion. Quite a lot of spring onion. This is going to form one of the base flavors for our sauce. Just want to finely slice those. Now, because I want to get the maximum amount of flavor out of these spring onions, I'm going to also give them the mortar and pestle treatment. So they go in, and then a little bit of garlic as well. You'll find the garlic will actually sort of fade into the background of this dish, but if you're not a garlic fan, you can actually leave that out. And then a little pinch of salt. The salt's going to add flavor. It's also going to help us break down the fibers of the garlic and the spring onion. Now, I just want a light sort of bruising for this. I want to make sure my garlic is pounded quite fine, but with the spring onion, it's okay to be a little bit rough with that one. Okay, so this is the kind of thing you're looking for. I can still see quite a bit of spring onion intact, but that garlic is nice and smooth in there. I'm going to add that to my sesame seeds. Okay, so now we also want some soy sauce, some vinegar. So I'm just using white vinegar because I know it's a lot easier for you guys to find, but a more traditional Chinese black vinegar would be really great if you could find that at your Asian grocer. And then some sesame oil. And the final magic ingredient for this sauce is chili oil. Now, I love a Sichuan style chili oil that has Sichuan peppercorns and lots of other spices through it. So go ahead and find a chili oil that you love at your Asian grocer or at the supermarket, but I've also got a recipe for how to make this one at home on my YouTube channel. I know a lot of you guys have tried this one because you've written in and told me about it. So this has like a whole bunch of spices, star anise, cinnamon, and when you're using this kind of Chinese chili oil, you want to make sure you get a little bit of the chili chunks or the flakes as well as the oil. Now the more chili flakes you get, the spicier it'll be, so I'll leave that up to you guys, but I like it quite spicy, so I'm going to add in a good mixture of both. Now just mix that up. And already the fragrance, the roasted sesame, the spices, the spring onion, so good. Okay, let's see. Just perfect. Tangy, spicy, yum, so good. Now I always like to try and add a little bit of greenery for my weeknight dinners because, you know, trying to be a little healthier. So I'm gonna add in some bok choy. You could use pak choy, you could use sliced snow peas, baby spinach, anything you like really. So I'm just gonna slice this. Okay, so they're ready to cook. So now let's talk about noodles. So one of my very, very favorite noodles is fresh Chinese egg noodles, sometimes called wonton noodles as well. They're almost like a really fine Italian pasta. It's the same sort of ingredients, egg, flour, water that go to make these. You can find them at an Asian grocer. You can also use any other type of shelf-stable noodle you can find at your supermarket. Udon noodles is great too. This is just one of my favorites. So the secret to cooking these noodles is simply time. You have to cook them really quickly. Just like Italian pasta, if you overcook, these are gonna be terrible. And I mean so quick that like more than 30 seconds and you've overcooked these guys. So be quick. And I want some really fast, rapidly boiling water and just sort of separate them a little as you're putting them into the pot. Now give them a stir and green vegetables straight in. They don't need much time either. And that is literally it. Because if you overcook these guys, they get all soggy. What you really want is like a really springy al dente noodle. Now my other little cheat for these noodles is that I'm using leftover roast chicken. You can use leftover rotisserie chicken. You can just grab a rotisserie chicken on the way home from work. Any kind of cooked meat is great in here. Or cooked prawns or seafood. And then now you want all of that sauce all over the top. And then mix. So the heat of those noodles is going to cook that garlic a little bit, cook the sauce a little bit. Ooh, that smell, I can smell all those beautiful spices and that chili oil, the roasted sesame, and look at those noodles perfectly cooked. Okay, so just serve these out into bowls. And because you've got these really spicy noodles and that kind of numbing sensation from the Sichuan peppercorns and the chili oil, I like to add a little bit of coolness and some crunch as well. So I'm gonna add some cucumber. Just wanna slice that. Okay, and there you have it. The noodle dish you wanna cook when you don't wanna be cooking any noodles, or anything at all for that matter, because it's just so quick. Oh, look at these. This is the best part of my day. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.